us up. Let us say it for peace, love, happiness. Say gay. Say what? Say gay. Say what? Say gay.
Hello, and welcome to my The Rainbow podcast. And today we have Felipe here, and I'm really happy that Felipe was joining to the podcast. This is the first podcast we have on the Rainbow Community Podcast. And before I talking and introducing myself, I would give the mic to Felipe to introduce yourself, please, for the community.
Hello, Buba. Hello, community. I'm Felipe Caneca. I'm a composer, singer, songwriter from Brazil, living in Portugal. I just released an album called DEUS, and I've been working with music since I was a kid, basically. I'm very happy to be here to have this opportunity to talk a little bit. And thank you, Boba, one more time.
You're welcome. And to my person, before we start with the first question, where you already was saying that you started musician since you were really young. But to me, I'm a psychology coach, I'm a mindfulness coach, and I'm doing my podcast besides my current job, what I'm doing. As a quality analyst, and I'm a writer as well. I published 2 books, but the books are in German because my native language is German and not English. But this overall podcast in general will be hosted in English and in German, just that you know that. And also I have a community podcast where I'm interviewing Black people, queer people from the community. And if you want to join this community as well to see the videos, go ahead, because you always can do auto translate to see the videos, and then it's auto translated in your native language if you want to. So, but now we can start with the first question, and this would be: did you know that you always want to become a musician?
Okay. Very good question. I would say it's not something I discovered. It was kind of always there. My first experience with the piano, which is my first instrument, was around 7 years old, and I was put in a psychomotor activities class, so to say, like to help kids with orienting themselves in space. And this classroom would have this piano, but in my memory as a kid, I had been enrolled in a piano lesson. Like I would never see it as something else, you know. It was way later on my life, when I was already 20 years old, probably. My mother finally told me it wasn't a piano class in the first place. But in my memory as a kid, it was always about playing the piano. I never remember it as something else.
But what did she mean by that?
Hmm?
What did she mean by that? So, as a kid, you went to piano lessons, but your mom said it was not a piano lesson.
No, yeah, actually, it wasn't a piano lesson. That's the interesting point. Like she put me in this activity to help orient myself in like in right and left and the space and movements. But then one of the instruments the teacher would have in the classroom to help the children was going to be a piano, and she would work a little bit with music as well, you know. So accidentally there was a piano there, but for me as a kid, I was all about the piano ever from the start, you know. So I got in in the classroom. I should be doing like drawings and whatever, but I was always playing the piano, you know? So it was very natural that I was gonna start forming bands with my brother, who's also a musician, in the teenage years. And then he was a little older than me, so he started working professionally with music, um, also very naturally. So earning some money from it. playing on parties and bars, and was also didn't take too long until this band would also invite me to play professionally. So the first time I played live professionally, I was 15 probably,
Hmm.
but there was this recording my father invited me to do as a kid. So there's like a laugh. I was gonna like imitate a witch, something like this, when I was a kid. So I did this funny, spooky laugh. I love to do this. Everyone would love it too. And then my father told me, Felipe, I needed to do that, your laugh, that one just now. Like I will record it and then you do it, okay? And he played it and it's recorded. I can send you the link. It's a recording from 2000, from the year 2000. I was 6
Oh,
and
and this is
I
online?
yeah, it's online. Yeah, we
Oh,
can we
okay.
can like
Yes, I think the community would
uh,
like to see that.
but just to say like it comes very early, you know. So I was 6 and then I was recording already with my father. So
Hmm. But
yeah, yeah.
uh, since we know each other also in person, it's um your but your mom, she's a musician as well, right?
Yes,
Okay, so you already was always surrounded by music, right?
yes, yes,
Okay, so the
yeah.
past and you, but your father, he like music as well, or he's in this area as well?
He's a musician as well. And they, when I was born, like they were producing my mother's album, and they were
Hmm.
producing many people at our place. So I was always surrounded also by music production itself, by the creating process of music. And I would always get home from school and run right into the studio where my father used to work, like was the last
Hmm.
room in the end of the corridor in our place. Many times I would interrupt a recording and fuck something up. But yeah, I would just wanted to be in there and watching them work. I think maybe it's a sign already, right, of the interest.
I think it's the because I recently was watching a video from Pink as well, where she was talking about her daughter, that she wanted to become a musician as well, a singer, and she said, "No, if my daughter would love to do something else and she's not good in it or something, she could have the opportunity." But it's for me to see that your both parents are musicians and you and your brother went to the footstep of your parents was really nice to or it's really interesting to see that what you said also about your mom didn't force you to become a musician. You was openly to you can do everything what you want, but you both chose by your love to the music to become a musician. So I think this is a really nice thing that your parents was open of the development of you as a child and see where the path is going, but you choose the same path. So it's because I think sometimes people can see as okay, yeah, the family is musicians, so the kids will be musicians as well. But how you say that it's really interesting for me to see that this path was chosen by you and not by your parents. And this is, I think, this is something what it's nice to see because that if or at least when I'm thinking about other people's imagination of a musician and to become famous or earning money with it, in a lot of other families they say, oh yeah, but this is you can't earn money with it. It's really hard to earn money with it, right? And I think in other families sometimes if you're going an artistic way, that they downplay the artistic way because it's too hard for them to achieve that. Or at least this is what I'm hearing when you're outside of this musician environment. How you experience that when
Uh,
people hear that you're a musician?
it's funny. Yeah, like I was gonna say two things. First, I watched my parents raise myself and my brother, and so I'm living witness that it's possible to to make a living with music. It's not easy at all. Like they struggled a lot, and I was very much spared from the most difficult subjects because I was a kid. But yeah, they went through many things, some
Mm-hmm.
heavy stuff, and then but yeah, we're here still. This is something interesting, like to see. It's an example for myself, because I can see I'm here, I'm alive, I'm in good health, and I was very well raised with music, in material aspects, so to say, and also in many aspects. Because yeah, I think music's much more than a job for us, for me, and for my family too. Um, and something also nice is, both my parents had the opposite problem than myself. So they had families that wouldn't support their choice to be a musician.
Okay, so this is what I just explained. You felt
Those are
okay.
my grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's a lot of trauma there, like when they chose to be musicians, and then their relative, their families were crazy, judging a lot. Um, so they've been through a lot to be accepted in their families as musicians, and then they had the opposite effort with us, their kids,
Mm-hmm.
to so we didn't feel forced to be musicians because just because they both are. And I like to be the different one. Always. I'm Gemini, so I studied letters, literature, before studying music. So my first university uh, course was a Portuguese literature course. So I studied to be Portuguese teacher, so to say. And then I didn't finish that because I was already working a lot in concerts, and I ended up changing the course to a music course in Portugal. So then I started studying formally in Portugal as well. But I also
Okay.
have many hobbies. Like I eat, I learn German, I do so many things. So.
But you're pinning out something there as well, because you mentioned that you did this in Brazil. So we can go here to the second question as well. How was it for you to grow up in Brazil as a gay person? Because
Mm.
I hear a lot of stories, different stories, how it is being gay in Brazil. Sometimes people say it's really open, strange things can happen in Brazil, but sometimes also they're saying it's a little bit conservative in this spectrum. But how was it for you?
No, not easy. I think I missed a lot of role models.
Hmm.
You get me? Um, my personal growing up process. Okay, um, I missed role models very much. I had a role model, a big one, in my father as a man. But then at some point, we parted ways because he also didn't accept that I had a boyfriend when I assumed I had a
Hmm.
boyfriend. So then this role model I had in my father, for that moment, it collapsed a little bit. I'm very much restoring this
Hmm.
position, his position as a father in my life. Was a long process, but then um, so we had gay people in our family, but then
Hmm.
people would always be making like silly jokes about them. So they would be people everyone joked about, So when I start noticing that I'm gay, also I noticed that I am someone to not be taken serious. I'm something ridiculous. I'm something less, because I mean, the first there's society always taking this as a demerit, you know. So you're gay, you're less. And in the school, there's always like this thing like calling people gay as if it were something negative. And nowadays, when I talk to children, I teach children. So many of them have this feeling like, "Oh, so what? Okay, he's gay. So what? I mean, who asked about it? Like, what's the problem? It's his problem. It's not my problem." So even children nowadays, they are being way more mature about it, and that's not an isolated phenomenon. I think it comes from a lot of cinema industry and stories in general, also lesbian stories, trans stories. We now have a lot of access to these narratives in any
But
day-to-day contents. So
this is the experience here in Portugal, or also in Brazil.
yeah, this experience of talking to children and this feeling, it's from my teaching experience in Portugal. Okay,
In Portugal. Hmm.
but then I can see there's this a little bit more role models, like people watch TV and then there's a lot of gay and trans narratives going on somehow, and then they don't see it as a monster so much anymore. It's something more normal, let's say. But when I was a kid, it was very strange. Like to for me, I suffered a lot, and there was no one to look up to for me. I had to part ways with my father, which was my role model of a man. And for many, my instinct was to think that I was wrong, you know, and I needed to change, to adapt to his way of being. But then I had a good friend. I told him about what my father all like. My father shouted at me a lot. He like, yeah, he was very rude to me the day he discovered I had a boyfriend. And when I told him to one of my new friends the day after, he said, "He's a son of a bitch. Fuck him, whatever." Like he said all the names. He called my father all the names, and it was very important to me, like to notice, to realize my father deserved to be called names at the moment, you know. And I had to like take a stand and say, I am who I am. And he doesn't have the right to treat me that way. You know, he was a doesn't mean he's a person in general, but his attitude was very, very regrettable at that moment. So
The just to hear the I I always say the if people call about the mother, it's like no, it's the because it's how we are downgrading women in general. We should get a part of that. We can call names to people, yeah, of course, but in it's always we attacking the mother of the person. We could, but
mhm,
we should maybe reframe that, and we can also attack the father of the person because it's two parents, right? So just to clarify here, if because I'm not the fan of that when we are calling names to the mother and not to the person themselves. So we can talk that about your father completely, that he
mhm.
was not accepting and all that stuff. But this is not attacking your father; it's attacking the mother of your father. So, and I think um,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
so to call names, it's you're right,
Yeah,
100%. But to clarify
yeah.
that, you wasn't attacking your father, you was attacking the mother of your father. So, and I'm
True.
not
Yeah.
sure how your relationship is with your grandmother, but you was not attacking your father in
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
sorry. I'm sorry. That it's a reflex. It's a language reflex. Um. Yeah. I just meant to say like he was very rude, and um and it was important to call, like, to really take a stand. Yeah, completely not to attack my grandmother, but to um, allow myself to hate, his attitude, and to
Hmm.
understand it was wrong at that moment. um, but yeah, I was lucky to have someone to be a role model for me at that moment. I had a new friend that stepped up and didn't allow me to feel worse or to feel like demerited at that moment. Like, no, you're not wrong. He's wrong. He shouldn't be doing this to you. It was very unfair. Um, yeah, it was very important, and I was lucky to have this angel telling me such things, because it helped me. I would probably be very depressed if I didn't have this good friend help me. That
When was your outing? In which age?
mm. For myself, around 15 years old, and for the family, around 18 years old.
Okay, that's funny because I recognize it with 15 as well. But
Hmm.
and then I had the progress and it's like, okay, yeah, I like boys, so and I have the attraction to the same sex. And for me was like to have after a year I had a flatmate in this time, and it was funny because my flatmate I was telling him that I'm gay, and then a couple of days he also announced that he's in the queer community as well to me. But it was so strange to me because it's like I was outing myself to him, but he still was anxious about himself, and that's I think sometimes what people not understanding is even we are in the community sometimes to admit that we are part of the community is something it's take time to acknowledge, and it's take time also to be really comfortable with that, and this is not always in the space in the community as well. And that's why also this year it's a part of that we are feeling comfortable, that we can sharing our story. And I think this is a really proud moment as well, that we both are so visible and vocal about that, because a lot of people can't do that because they're still facing what especially when you have fathers who are not accepting and you identify as a man and your role model is your father, that this your whole world starting to crumble, right?
Yeah, for
Because it is nothing we can change. We can't change that we have parents which in this moment are homophobic.
hmm
And I think this is a part of it where it's a process, and I'm happy to hear that you right now have a better connection or a reconnection to your father and re-evaluating this. But then I assume your parents are not together anymore, right?
No, yeah. What a nice, interesting thing was, like, it's a little bit of gossip, but it's okay. I
That's normal.
was with my father and an artist, and two artists actually. They came from Brazil with my father to do a tour here in
Hmm.
Portugal. A tour Porto, Lisbon, okay, two
Hmm.
cities. And we traveled together. We did those two concerts together with this person singing, and I was a little bit in love with the artist,
Hmm.
the singer. I was like, enchanted. I don't know. I was feeling things, and probably my father also felt that. He how to say, um, he saw this ahead, probably even before he came here, that probably I was gonna enjoy that person and vice versa. It was more myself than the other side, I think. But even so, he felt that, and it was a moment when we were just the three of us, me, this person I was a little bit in love with, and my father. And he said, like, "Oh, I'm walking home, maybe you two go have a walk there, like, yeah, I meet you later. I wait for you at home." Like, and then he kind of did this cupid work, you know,
Cupido,
like
yeah.
pushing us to be together alone. And that was very nice. When I say like he's accepting things now, I see like a lot of maturity in this moment of his life. And also, although nothing happened between me and this person, um, but I was way more happy with the attitude from my father, like being a friend, you know, and like, yeah, go, like, it was very beautiful from him, I think.
This is nice because, of course, it's I never had the experience because I don't have contact to my father, so I will never experience this kind of things. To that, there's a shift of understanding to their own children that they are part of the queer community, they are gay, and that actually our parents need to have the process as well to adapt to the society, because what people need to understand as well, when we have our outing, this is one part, we starting to accept ourselves and saying that's me. I'm queer, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, I'm bisexual, I'm trans. So when we are talking about that, then we had a process, you until you was 18, me until I was 16, to have the process internally to accept ourselves that we have feelings to the same sex. And then when we can see the progress in our parents, it's even more beautiful what you just was saying, because you see it's like, okay, there was a process in your father what is showing me that he actually accepted me. And I think this is something what the process about it, that sometimes people don't have that at all. I don't have that. My father will never accept me that I'm gay. So, and this is something to hear that we have different kind of parent relation. I think this is really joyful to see as well. To have that we are not a monolith. Not all parents love us, and not all parents hate us. But it's the same in the heterosexual community as well, right? So, but I mean, the our parents fearing, I would say, fearing most likely the issues in society, like the
Yeah.
pressure, because when I was talking with my sister and was doing and talked to her, she went to my mom as well and saying with my agreement and told her that I'm gay. But my mom realized, oh, she don't just have a black child, she also have a gay child. So the intersection was working there, and she was, of course, she was not cheerleading, but she was accepting from right away from the beginning. And I can hear, or I know that a lot of people don't have that from the beginning on. And this is my privilege, what I carry, and I'm happy about that. But in the same time, it's that our outings can be completely different. So
Hmm.
I heard stories already where the parents was not accepting, and people are, or children are getting kicked out of the home, and then they get then being homeless. And then I thinking sometimes like, okay, why you even had children in the first place? Because we are not choosing to be queer, gay, lesbian, bisexual, or trans. We are not choosing that. It's not a choice. It's something what we it's, I don't know. It's we have it in us all the time. And I think this conception of people in general need to change. But yeah, I hear different stories. I was really happy to hear about you, that the children you are teaching, that they are really accepting and saying that they are more loving. But I hear it already here in Portugal stories as well. But this is are more children when they're going to school, that they are not that accepting, and that they are
Yeah,
also are really hateful
I'm
in
aware.
certain things. But here,
Yeah.
for this, to the next question, what was your inspiration to move to Portugal?
Nice. I think I always felt a little bit. I heard from my father many times that um, uh, in Europe, probably there was going to be more interest from the public to the music that I do, to the instruments that I play. Yeah, because of yeah, I was gonna. go to America first, to Boston.
Okay.
It turned out being like very difficult financially. It was gonna be like a huge debt basically in my life. And at some point, someone from Boston who was studying there advised me like, don't waste your life in debt because of simply the reputation of an institution, because you have many amazing institutions in Europe. Some of them will even pay for you to study there. So, like in Finland, for example, or Estonia, there's going to be some places where they really pay you to be there studying. Um, it's not my case in Portugal, but still, it's so cheaper than studying in a
America.
standard, very famous music college in Boston. They have some of the world leading institutions in music, and everyone wants to study there. And but they're very pragmatic with money. Basically, you pay, you go. And then they will give you scholarships at some point. But if they don't give you like 80% or more, it's a lot of money. You
But how
know.
was it for you then in Boston? How was, because I hear also that since you're Brazilian,
Mhm.
that how was the view on you as a Latino person to
Ah,
be in
yeah.
America?
So I never get to put my foot in America, not
Ah,
yet
okay.
in this lifetime. I did some tests to go there, so some um,
So you, but then you didn't was in Boston, just to.
I didn't go, yeah,
Ah,
because they
okay.
offered me around like 20% scholarship, but
Mhm.
this was still like huge money, like I don't know, lots. Like imagine like the salary of a president just to pay for the college, let alone family costs and everything. So it was a lot of money, even with the scholarship. So I wonder maybe if I was not such a good musician as I am, but I had the money to pay. Like wow, at the moment, probably they was gonna accept me. I think it's more about so at some point, if you have the money, probably you were gonna be there. I don't know.
Mhm.
um but yeah, someone who was studying in Boston advised me like not to waste my life in debt just because this university is so famous. So like really, like think about you. Look at Europe, there's a lot of amazing colleges there. You're gonna end up reading the same books and doing the same methods. So yeah, I started looking Portugal. I had some references, like people that were already here,
Mhm.
people who could help me in some point. So I had already received invitations to come to Portugal earlier when I was studying literature, but I was a very like um, I don't know, I was young and very decided with everything. So I was, no, I have my life here. I'm not going to Portugal now. So I was a very
I'm
teenager.
completely the opposite to that.
Yeah. So and then at some point I had to do the TOEFL test, the American English proficiency
Mhm.
test. So I did this, and I had a very good grade in this test. I was very well. And some of the colleges in America were contacting me. One of them, I think, was around close to Washington D.C. I don't know. It was like a country interior thing, but they would send me lots of emails like, Felipe, we are waiting for you. Like, you have full scholarship, you have a place to sleep, you have a place to live in the campus. We pay for whatever you need. We pick you up in the airport. And I was like, literally, I was ignoring. those emails because I wanted to go to that college in Boston, you know. So nowadays I look at those memories, I think I'm crazy because people were offering me like so much, and I would ignore that because I was so decided only to do what I wanted to do.
But here I
Crazy.
have a question because since you didn't went to Boston, because you didn't went enter to the school, but if you would have decided to go to the other school where you have everything scholar and all that kind of things, but would you think your path would be completely different on your music, what you're doing right now? Because I know you're doing Portuguese. So and would you, because if you would have studied in America, it is most likely common that you would have sing in English or not?
Very exactly. So my first release ended up being an honor to Lisbon and a story about Lisbon, and it's literally named after Lisbon. It's called Lisboa É Toda Ouvidos. So and it's a video clip and it's a single. So I released that roughly in the end of my university in Portugal. Um, and I mean, it's something was in my way coming here. Also, when I got here, I I I didn't know I was gonna stay this long, like 9 years. But I was kind of prepared to go back or to go somewhere else, maybe. But yeah, it was nice. I got here. I felt a little bit familiar with um, the city, and something probably about past lives for the ones who believe in such things. But yeah, somehow it was familiar to me, and also the language. So I don't know, it feels cozy somehow. You know, like sometimes Portugal, it's so cozy that nothing happens. It's
Do
very
you think
awkward.
so?
Yeah,
I
I
mean, this is not my experience. I can't agree on that because it's
no, it's just a
Lisbon. It's
feeling.
calling
Yeah,
you all the time.
yeah.
So I compare it all the time to Berlin. If you have an impression of how Lisbon is, it is, in my opinion, it's like Berlin, just a little bit different. But you can do so much in
Mhm.
Lisbon. If you want to go out, if you want to do something, if you want to go to an exhibition or something like that, Lisbon, in my opinion, is calling you all the time, specifically in the summertime. You can go every week. You can experience something differently in the city when you're searching for that and have the community. I think it's really yeah. I need to disagree here. That is that
Yeah,
common.
it's more like a feeling, you know, than exactly a reality. It's more like I know like so much things are done culturally, and yeah, you're completely right. Um,
But
it's just a
now,
sensation of getting home and everything being so silent. Like it's not possible in Brazil at all. Like there's no such silence there. All the time someone's doing something, someone's playing music, I don't know, it's always something happening. And here you have the feeling like people stop doing things at some point, especially if
okay.
you're in a residential neighborhood. You feel like, yeah, everything stops for some moment for
This is the cultural differences you are experiencing because since I'm German, I don't have this huge cultural difference. I always call the Portuguese the Germans in the south because our culture is most likely more closely to the Portuguese one than to the Brazilian one, in
Mhm.
my opinion, because it's of course, what you're just saying. The Brazilian people are always on the move. They're doing all the time something. They try not to stuck or being all the time busy and having their free spirit life kinda. And I think this is the opposite in Portugal. In Portugal they are really more calm, more quiet, having
Yeah.
their daily life going on. And I think it's but this is reminds me a lot of the German culture as well. But I always say the Portuguese people are way nicer than the Germans, to 100%, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my stance there. But I completely, yeah, I understand the cultural differences there. when you say the city is calm. So because the culture, the Portuguese culture, it's, I would say I agree on that it's a calm culture. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree on this one.
Mhm. Yeah, I think as we're putting it now, maybe it's more fair. Yeah, I didn't mean that nothing happens, just like it feels calmer somehow.
Yeah. Because when you pinned it out, it was like it sounds like a dead city or something like that. But yeah,
Yeah, it
no,
was
Lisbon
very.
is definitely
Yeah,
not that.
sorry, this one. Sorry.
You have even a song about that, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like,
by the way, I
mhm,
will put Felipe's music in the show notes as well. If you want to see and watch what he's doing, it will be everything in the show notes. So no
thank you.
worries on that. And I would say we proceed with the uh, not with the last one, but the before that. Did you had any obstacles as a queer person in the music business?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm telling you personally as Felipe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Probably I experienced many internal blockades. Probably like not trusting um, that I have my own place and like I am who I am and I'm allowed to be who I am. At some points, I might have experienced it more internally, but I think mostly when I came out with those questions
Mm-hmm.
in my work, I was mostly welcomed.
What you, because you mention internally, what do you mean by that? I think because sometimes people are not um that aware that a lot of things is internalized. Internalization means when you like have internalized homophobic, that we are growing in a homophobic, transphobic, racism society, and that we have certain behaviors what is blocking us. Do you think this is what was happening, that there was internalized things about your gayness, queerness? Is it this, or what do you mean by internalized?
Yeah, yeah, it's also very important to explain. Yeah, I think it's about how the things that are planted and taught to us by society, like very early on. Um, Internalized homophobia and transphobia and misogyny and everything. So um, I can tell that many times I heard like people saying jokes, probably jokes about gay people, also in professional situations with my parents, and maybe these also is not very welcoming. When you keep having the experience that you're a joke, basically.
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, so there is something social really that personally my growing up with the adults that were around me, there was a lot of social like homophobia, like always like this cloud of homophobia surrounding me. uh, it got to very traumatic, um, to a traumatic point with my father at some point. As I told you, like we had this very difficult night. Um, when he was telling those things to me, he also mentioned professional, like, so I don't know, when someone tells you like, okay, you're gay, but then you're not gonna be like this gay around my friends, around my colleagues in work, and so there are experiences that external to me that was leading this sensation, of not feeling um, welcome or
Mm-hmm.
not being confident to come out in my workplace. But throughout the years, at some point, I started working a lot and like really traveling with the same people all the time and
Mhm.
really being on tour.
But I
Uh,
see here you say something really important because I think it's when your father say that I hope you're not this being gay around my friends and all that stuff. So I mean, maybe this is my interpretation or what how my perception is about people receiving gay, and I think it's equal to being feminine in certain point, and this is what people need to understand that when we saying oh I hope you're not that gay, it's normally that they're saying I hope you are not feminine
mhm.
and that you are not being this is what the enemy is portraying, that you want to kind of or want to dress like a woman, or even clothes don't have any gender. We put the gender on it, and they don't have gender. Even if you argue in the comments they have, no, that is bullshit. And to be honest, in the same time, it's still that because it, oh, whew. um, I mean, the thing is, when we're talking about gayness in general, then the people are always attacking feminine gay people. So, and this is what um, we try to cope as gay people, that we're trying to not be feminine and we try not to connect as much to the feminine side, even it's something what is attached to being gay. And I think a lot of people are being what's good framed by that. Also, when we have straight men being more feminine, that they called gay, but everything is still attacking the decide how we are portraying women in general. So it's
Exactly.
mm, I hate the word because I can't pronounce it. Misogynistic. So this what they saying when they I hope you're not gay, because also me I hear that it's like oh I'm happy that you're not that gay, and it's like what that even mean. Even if I would be that gay, this shouldn't be an issue. And the harassment what the most gay people are experiencing are the feminine gays in our community. And I
Yes.
think this is because if you I present normal normally really masculine and all that, and I know that this is a privilege I have because I'm not get attacked to being gay because people are not threatened by me. But with the other point of view, when you're presenting more feminine, the people are starting to getting threatened by that. Even I don't understand it because they are not. Why they should be harm to you if they are presenting more feminine, but you have the conception of what a man is and what a woman is. And this
Yes.
is the main issue what we are facing, that we have this gender bias, this binary system where we say everything what is an anomaly in this system, it is not right. And but we need to understand that we have a society with diversity. So we are not all born the same. We are not looking all the same. Even people are trying to look the same nowadays. But we need to understand that plurality in our society is even more important right now what we had in all the history, because we are going backwards at the moment. And yeah, but it's what you say, just I wanted to pin out that it's not against not against the man in general, it's against actually the traits of a woman what being
Yes.
in a man.
Yes.
And yeah.
Yes. Yeah, like I would pin out something you said as well, like what it means actually to be a man and to be a woman or whatever the gender you identify with. It's something you build very personally, and whatever I want to do sexually, if I identify as a man and if I like, I will incorporate this, and this is also gonna be a masculine thing. Whatever I experience, if I wanna like build a different version of a man for myself, um, and when I identify with this gender, it's for me to build. So many things, like people say, dressing this way is feminine, dressing this way is masculine, and it was like a glimpse in my life when I started to know that no, this is not like a ready to wear definition. Being
Mhm.
masculine or being feminine is not something you just wear. It's something you will
Yeah, the people
construct.
thinking that we need to pretend, right? We need to pretend that we are always the man. We need to pretend we are always the woman.
Yeah,
And we had we started to have this standards created. What it's knowing our society's individuals views on the point of view, because the thing is, we attach certain traits to a man and certain traits to the woman. So,
yeah,
and if we wouldn't do that, we people would be way more free with their minds. They was way more accepting. They would being encouraged to start playing sport, what is mainly or prominently by men. So we would have a more inclusive society if we get rid of this binary system we are in at the moment and trying not to follow it, because how much pressure it is that we saying to men that they need to be the only providers, and they going now back to that. So, and what happened was that a lot of men, when they are not having the same standard or the same status or above a woman, they starting to get depression, they starting to feel not worth it and all that. We should not have that anymore. And what people are also, the last I was hearing was that people saying now, yeah, but women, they want to have the status quo. They want to have a provider at home, and but they want to be independent in the moment as well. And the thing is, what people are not understanding in the patriarchy we are living in, man put this on woman, and we need to we have this internalized as well. Of course, we have a standard for a man as well. Even we thinking, we are feminists and all that stuff, but we need to start to debunk ourselves and trying to focus. Okay, what is based in our society, and it's completely nonsense. And I think we are still not on the point to understand where the nonsense is happening and where we should be don't care, because if we are dating someone, money shouldn't be the first place we should look into. It's more the connection we have having with each other than to being in the first place wealthy. Because if we have a beautiful and healthy connection with each other, then we are blooming with each other and we are creating wealth in our society. But I think this is far gone from our society at the moment. And people are not understanding that we should come together. And that's why I want to make this podcast as well, and the different podcasts I having, to see our individual point of views and how we are growing up and how difficult it is for everybody to have certain things going on in life. And yeah, it is where I want to go. Um, yeah, you triggered something. This binary system for me, it's crap. I don't understand it, why we have that at all. But
yeah, yeah.
we coming closely to the end, and in the end, I always ask the my last question: three things you would recommend for any queer artist to keep in mind and give it on the way. What they should consider when they want to become an artist.
I think what people, at least sensible people, would expect from an artist is the truth. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Society is very well served of lies. We are basically told lies all the time. Um, there's a notion of lies. It's a song from Stevie Wonder. A notion of lies we've been told. Um, take note of this. This song is called "Can We Heal Our Nation's Broken Heart?" So we are told a notion of lies about everything to try to tear us down. um, because if we are zombies, because basically they tell you, boys wear blue, girls wear pink,
Mhm.
and it's so obvious this is bullshit. But then you've been like brainwashed all the time to see this as a standard. You will be forever frustrated because you look around, you look inside you, and everything is just doesn't fit. So what society, like meaning people who really pull the strings in society, what they want is for you to walk as a zombie, you know. So that's why we're so sinking into so many lies socially, and bullshit. So they're trying to put you in boxes. So whatever you do as an artist, like your truth is the most important, you know, to be honest, to your own story, because your voice, whatever it means, whatever type of art you do, your voice is unique. Your voice, it contains all of your scars, all of your um, achievements. So each one should look inside first and look into why you do what you do. Why do I want to do this? Um, uh, and this is a very important question. And when you really, in my case, when I go to the stage and I open my mouth and sing, I'm really 100% there. And sometimes I'm talking about like a little bit non-verbal stuff, but it's like a feeling of completely being there and letting those fluids go, like no filter, you know, really be honest, um, in the frequencies that I sing, being honest in movements that I do, like in how I'm present in the moment,
Mhm.
and obviously in my words as well when I write, when I. But yeah, being honest as a whole, I think it's something we expect from an artist, like truth, because that's why art saves society, and that's also a very honorable legacy from our community. It's like
So,
opening a path of truth, uh,
mhm.
and showing everyone like what is really diversity. You know, that's what we have so many to look up to, like looking to the queer idols from past centuries all over the world. So
So
yeah,
put it, I try to put it in one sentence. So what you would love for the upcoming artists in general is putting their soul in their work, right?
yes, yes, yes. Society is soulless enough. So let this come. No, let it come,
Mhm.
and we need you. Whatever you do, we need you. Count on
Preach that.
us.
Preach that. I love that. And I think this is a beautiful end word for the first episode of the Rainbow Podcast. Thank you very much, people out there and the community, to watch that. And also, I always say, I hope you have a good afternoon, good evening, or good morning. It's depending when you're watching this episode right now. And make you a hot coffee, a hot chocolate, or hot tea. I wish you now a wonderful day and see you soon again. Bye bye.
Cheers.